Hello, everyone, and welcome to a special anniversary installment of Presidential. Did you know? With me, Rory Carson. Yesterday, July 30th, 2025, marked the 60th anniversary of the passage of Medicare. Medicare is a program that provides medical insurance for people aged 65 and older. Medicaid was passed alongside Medicare, and it is very similar, but instead it is for low-income citizens. Medicare was signed into law by President Lyndon B. Johnson on July 30th, 1965 at the Harry S. Truman Presidential Library in Independence, Missouri. You may be wondering why it wasn't signed at the White House. Well, last night I had the great opportunity to attend a webinar hosted by Harry Truman's grandson, Clifton Truman Daniel, and he was interviewing President Lyndon Johnson's daughter, Lucy Baines Johnson, and Lucy said it best.
Why on earth are you going all the way out to Missouri to sign this legislation rather than in the Oval Office or in the Capitol or in the East Room? And my father looked at me with such disappointment. Why I, his own flesh and blood, couldn't understand that the only right thing to do was to go to Missouri. And he said to me, Lucy Baines, which is what he always called me when he found me a little bit wanting, which was not infrequent, I'm afraid. And he said, Lucy Baines, I want to be remembered as someone who remembered who brought them to the dance.
That's right. Harry S. Truman was the pioneer behind the idea of Medicare, and Lyndon Johnson wanted to honor him by signing Medicare into law. In 1945, Truman had proposed universal health care, but his proposal was unfortunately blocked by the mostly Republican 79th Congress. Truman was a World War I veteran, and he got the idea of universal health care because he was not happy that there were a large number of men who were deemed unfit to participate in the war. Additionally, only lower-class citizens were receiving medical assistance, and since the wealthy could pay for it, the middle class were being left out of the equation. Truman's plan was for everyone to receive health care, which would then be paid for through taxes. He wanted this to be an extension of Franklin Roosevelt's New Deal, and this was an early form of Truman's Fair Deal. Truman would later call the rejection of the plan the greatest disappointment of his presidency. So in 1965, Lyndon Johnson signed Medicare into law and made Harry S. Truman the first cardholder of Medicare. I'm Rory Carson, and that is your Presidential Did You Know?
One of the proudest moments since leaving the White House occurred when President Johnson came to this library in Independence on July 30th, so that I could witness the signing of the Medicare bill into law. An equally proud moment took place at the announcement of the establishment of the Center for the Advancement of Peace on January the 20th of this year, when President Johnson again visited the library and personally presented me and Mrs. Truman with number 1 and number 2 Medicare registration cards.